Hello everyone, this is the session 13 for the BSc third semester students of Gulbarga University, Kalaburgi. Here I am going to cover the topics: center of a group, normalizer of an element, factor group, and some worked examples on that. Before going to the main topic, let us recall what we had in the session 12. We had the definitions of normal subgroups, like a subgroup N of a group G is said to be normal subgroup of G if for every G belongs to G and N belongs to N, G and G inverse belongs to N. So this condition must be satisfied in the case of normal subgroup. Same three different definitions were there. One was for left coset is equal to right coset, that is GH is equal to HG. These were called as the normal subgroups, and related terms were proved there in the last session. Now we have the definition of center of a group. The set of all those elements of G which commute with every other element of G. There are elements which commute with every other element of G is called the center of the group. That is, if Z belongs to G, then ZA is equal to AZ for all A belongs to G. So if this condition is satisfied, then it is called as center of the group. Related to that, we have a theorem, that is theorem 25, where it says the center of a group G is a normal subgroup of G. What we have to prove? The center of a group G is a normal subgroup of G. Let us prove that. Let Z is equal to capital Z. Small z belongs to G such that Z is equal to AZ. This condition we are taking here. For all A belongs to G, be the center of G. Whatever given data is there. Now we have to prove it is a normal subgroup. For all A belongs to G, EA is equal to A. Why? Because you are multiplying by an identity element E. So E belongs to Z. So Z is a non-empty set. So if it is a non-empty set means it can be a subgroup. Now to show that Z is a normal subgroup of G, let us take small g belongs to the set G here, or the group G, and Z belongs to capital Z, some arbitrary number here. Consider GZ G inverse is equal to. Since we have the definition says that it commutes, so in place of Z GZ I can write that as ZG, keeping this set G inverse outside by the definition of Z there. So Z you can take it outside just using the commute property, G into G inverse. So this is nothing but your E, Z into E. So Z belongs to capital Z, which means Z G inverse belongs to Z for all G belongs to G and for all Z belongs to Z. So if this condition is satisfied, just see by this definition, G and G inverse. So here we are getting the same thing, G Z G inverse belongs to Z for all G belongs to G and for all Z belongs to Z. Hence Z is a normal subgroup of G. So that is our theorem 35. Next we have normalizer of an element. The normalizer of an element A belongs to G is a set of all those elements of G which commute with A. Normalizer of an element A belongs to G is a set of all those elements of G which commute with A. It is denoted by NA, that is NA is equal to how X belongs to G such that AX must be equal to XA. So this is the difference here now. The center, we have got another theorem that is called theorem 36. The center of a group is a normal subgroup of a normalizer of an element. The center of a group is a normal subgroup of a normalizer of an element. So you have to use both the definitions of center of a group and normalizer of an element. For A belongs to G, the normalizer of A is denoted by this one. To see this definition, then A is equal to, just write the definition as it is, what we have assumed. What is the center of G? By using the definition of center of G, this we can write it now. To show that the center Z of a group G is a normal subgroup of NA, we have for all Z belongs to capital Z, ZX must be equal to XZ for all X belongs to G. In particular, in place of that X, we can take it as Z is equal to AZ as A belongs to G, which implies Z belongs to NA or capital Z is a subset of NA. Since Z is a normal in G, so Z is a normal in NA. Next we have got factor group. Let us understand what is the definition. Let G be a group and N be a normal subgroup of G. Then the set G by G bar N. The set G bar N of all right cosets of N in G together with the binary operation. Together with the binary operation defined by NA into NB must be equal to N of AB for all NA and B belongs to G by N is group and is called as factor group or a quotient group of G by N. Next we have related to this, we have got a lemma. What is lemma is nothing but a small result related to a theorem or related to a definition of any like factor group or quotient group. For a finite group G and for each normal subgroup N of G, the order of G by N must be equal to order of G divides the order of N. What is the definition we have to prove here? Order of G by N is always equal to order of G by order of N. Let the number of distinct cosets of N in G be suppose small t. Then we have got the Lagrange's theorem as we have discussed in session 11. What it says, the order of G must be equal to order of N into T. This T is equal to, keeping this T on the same side, just divide this over order of N. So we will be getting T is equal to order of G by order of N. So order of, what is the T actually we have assumed? So it is order of G by N is equal to order of G divided by order of N. So that is a small result. Next we have some worked examples. Show that every subgroup of an abelian group is normal. Abelian group means the commutative law will satisfy here. Let H be a subgroup of an abelian group G. Let X belongs to G and H belongs to H. Be some arbitrary number. When we have X, H, X inverse must be equal to X dot X inverse H. Just using the commutative property here. Where H is belonging to H and H is belonging to 4 X raised to N minus 1. H belongs to G. H X raised to minus 1 is equal to X raised to minus 1. Which is nothing but your EH is equal to H which belongs to H. So X inverse belongs to H. Hence this is nothing but the definition of a normal subgroup. If this condition is satisfied means we can say that it is a normal subgroup. Similarly we have got another example. If G is abelian, prove that G divides N is also abelian. When we are saying if G is abelian, then only we can say that G divides N is also abelian. Let NA and NB belongs to G by N. For some AB belongs to G. Since G is abelian, we can write AB belongs to G means AB must be equal to BA. What is commutative law? If satisfies, then we can say it is abelian. Now consider NA dot NB. So N of, just use the commutative law again. So here N as it is, A, N inside, B outside. N into N, AB, right? As G is abelian, right coset must be equal to the left coset. So N of AB, because N dot N must be equal to N as N is normal here. So using commutative property, you can write NBA, NNBA for same thing. Right coset must be equal to the left coset as well as G is abelian. So NA dot NB must be equal to NB dot NA. So for all NA, NB belongs to G by N. Hence G by N is also abelian. Next we have example 3. If H is a subgroup of index 2 in a group G, prove that H is normal subgroup of G. Whenever this normal subgroup comes, we need to prove that this X here. Now recall that index of H in G is, that is index of GH must be equal to G of the number of distinct right or left cosets of H in G. What is the index? The number of distinct right or left cosets of H in G. By data I of GH is given to be 2 here. The number of distinct right cosets of H in G is 2 here. For all X belongs to G, there are 2 cases here. One is when X belongs to H, when X doesn't belong to H here. When X belongs to H, what we have? Hx is equal to H. H into H is equal to H when H belongs to H. Similarly, XH is equal to H. Same way, thus XH. See, we have got the definition of normal subgroup in 3 different ways. We are using the second one here. So H is normal again. When X doesn't belong to H, what we have? XH, capital H, doesn't equal to H here, or HX doesn't equal to H. Since there are only 2 distinct right or left cosets of H and G. These are H and Hx, right or left. We have H union of Hx is equal to G and H union of Xh is equal to G. Each element of G is in some coset, and same way for union you have written, for intersection it will be a null set here. Two cosets are disjoint. When do you say disjoint? What is the meaning of disjoint? If their intersection is empty, then we can say that the two sets are disjoint. From the above equations we have xh is equal to xh, which is nothing but we are using the second or third definition of normal subgroup, hence h is a normal in G. Now example 4. If H is a subgroup of G and for G belongs to G, GH G inverse is equal to GH G inverse where H belongs to H, then prove that G capital H G inverse is a subgroup of G. Again, same. AB belongs to GH G inverse. Whatever the last result is there, we have to assume it be some arbitrary number. Clearly A is equal to GH1 G inverse and B is equal to GH2 G inverse for some H1 H2 belongs to H, and consider AB inverse. If this AB inverse for subgroup, we need to prove that AB inverse must also belongs to GH inverse. You have to just do some rearrangement here, use the reversal law and all. Then you have to arrive at this result here, hence GH G inverse is subgroup of G. Next we have if H is the only subgroup of finite order M in the group G, prove that H is a normal subgroup of G. Again, you have to prove that this X inverse is equal to H. This is the condition for normal subgroup here. Let OH is equal to M. It is given here. Let H is equal to, there are some elements HM. If X belongs to G, then X inverse is a subgroup of G. Also X inverse is equal to, same thing. How you are writing this definition? The number of distinct elements of X inverse is M. Order of this is equal to small m here. Order of this is equal to order of H, which is equal to M, which is finite, but H is the only subgroup of finite order. Hence X inverse is equal to capitalize for all X belongs to G. Hence is a normal subgroup. Whenever you arrive at this result, then you can say that it is a normal subgroup. So example 6, show that every quotient group of a cyclic group is cyclic. Every quotient group of a cyclic group is cyclic always. Let H be a subgroup of a cyclic group. H is also cyclic. Since every cyclic group is abelian, H is a normal subgroup of G. Let A be a generator of G and A raised to n belongs to G for some integer n. Then H A inverse also belongs to G bar H. That is our quotient group. Also, it can be shown that H A whole raised to n is equal to H A raised to n for some integer n here, which means G divides H is also a cyclic and it is generator, and its generator is HA. Similarly, you can try this example 7 here. Next, we have got multiple choice questions. If n and m are two normal subgroups of G and any intersection m is equal to E, then for every n belongs to m and m belongs to m, nm is equal to mn. That is a result. We have got 4 options are there. Every quotient group of a cyclic group is cyclic. Whether it is true or false, we have just solved the problem related to that. Every quotient group of a cyclic group is cyclic. That is also true. Next, let G be a group and N be a normal subgroup of G. Then the set G bar N of all right cosets of N in G together with the binary operation defined by Na dot Nb is equal to Nab for all Na Nb belongs to G by N is a group and is called dash of G by N. So the answer is here factor group or quotient group, both A and B. It's a factor group you can say, or you can say quotient group. So the answer is here both A and B. Next we have got the 4th question. If G is abelian, then G bar N is also abelian. Next, the center of a group is a normal subgroup of a normalizer of an element. Whether it's true or false, that's true here. So these are the references. Thank you for watching.